Christian Leroux, an 8-year-old boy who appears in the opening scene, is a football player who aspires to be the best in the world and make the national squad. He admires Cristiano Ronaldo greatly and wants to be just like him. Christian's mother Kathleen supports him and thinks he should first master walking before jumping. She so counsels him to first impress the coach. George, his father, is serving in the American Army and is currently engaged in combat in Afghanistan. Then, a repulsive neighbor named Frank who constantly advances towards Kathleen is presented to us. Donald and Ed, his two sons, go to the same football practice club as Christian. He assists the boy with pickup and drop-off as a result. Christian is subjugated by his sons because they think he will never be as good as them. Christian is given a chance one day by their coach Dominic, who installs him as the team's new striker. Yet, because he fails to score even one goal, the latter is unable to win over the coach. He comes home feeling depressed and confides in his mother, who serves as a reminder of his father's remarks. Never give up because it provides success, and that is the best retribution George used to push him. Christian afterwards practices his penalty kicks at home. When he accidentally damages another neighbor's plants by kicking the ball onto his land, he receives a reprimand from his elderly neighbor as he leaves for ruining his magnificent plants. The youngster apologizes and declares his goal of becoming the world's best football player. Christian is instructed to keep the ball and his dream away from him by the man who despises sport. Nevertheless, the Northern Stars football team of Dominic is shown playing in a tournament in the following scene, as the parents of the kids support them in the audience. Like usual, Frank is against Christian playing, and as a result he convinces Dominic to keep him on the field for the first half as a substitute. The coach is upset at halftime because of their team's poor performance. He tells them that short passes and the triangle approach are the best ways to advance and score. Prior to the start of the second half, he also makes an effort to inspire the players, but they struggle to play well. To everyone's astonishment, as the playtime is winding down, Dominic chooses to swap out Donald for Christian. He exerts excellent play, yet he still fails to score. Thankfully, their team is awarded a penalty, and they score to draw the game. All of the kids leave after the game is over. Christian played like a champion, the coach said in praise of his performance. George and his army force, however, are visible in action. To make matters worse, they appear to be encircled by the adversaries. The soldiers are gradually losing hope because their commander is seriously close to being hurt. George, however, keeps taking care of his friends and assures them that he won't leave anyone behind. He glances at a picture of his wife and son while this is happening, which makes him emotional. Kathleen drops her son off at school the following morning and then heads back home. She gets a call from Sergeant William Scott, who informs her that her husband has been reported missing in action. After being startled by the unexpected news, Kathleen becomes preoccupied and crashes her automobile. Christian, who is waiting for his mother at school that evening, gets picked up by Frank, who then takes him directly to the hospital. The child is devastated to learn that his mother is in severe condition, and no one is available to take care of Christian. He stays with Frank while his mother is getting better. Unfortunately, he receives appalling treatment. He is made to perform all home chores while being forced to reside in an abandoned basement. Frank takes Christian to a sports store after noticing that Christian needs new football boots one day. Frank, however, makes it clear that Christian is not his son, and that he wants the least expensive shoes available before the store owner displays the best possibilities. The store owner then brings him a pair of odd-looking golden-colored shoes. Despite this, the child does not object and accepts his situation with satisfaction. Christian is practicing by himself one day and is sporting the same worn-out footwear. He is surprised to discover that he is shooting the ball like a pro. Kathleen has the good fortune to be in the hospital under Mary White, a kind and giving nurse's care. In addition to caring for Kathleen, she exhorts her to be a strong mother for her child, arguing that this is the best way to uplift a child's spirits. A few days later, the Northern Stars play another game. If they win, they'll be eligible to play in the tournament's championship round. They will thus have the opportunity to participate in the regional state championship games. But, with time running out as the first half comes to a close, the team is unable to produce. For the second half, Dominic chooses to switch Frank's son out for Christian. When Frank hears this, he vigorously disagrees and urges the coach to change his mind. Nonetheless, Dominic is fully conscious of his actions. Frank is forced to play the dirty game by extorting the coach to pay back the money he appears to have lent in the past. Dominic nevertheless declines and lets Christian play. Christian scores goals one after another, and Dominic's choice changes the course of the game. Everyone, especially the coach who whispers, "I found my striker," is amazed by his outstanding performance. Julian, the goalkeeper for Northern Stars and Christian's alone friend, congratulates him on his performance after the game and urges him to keep fighting for his mother. Nevertheless, the boy's envious stepfather, Frank, makes the youngster clean the dishes, keeps him from seeing his mother, and even forbids him from phoning her. Christian's abilities begin to blossom after a few games, and he helps his team to many triumphs, much to his coach's delight, who had always felt like a loser but now feels like a winner. Thanks to the youngster, news reporters begin to take notice of the boy's boy's amazing game and his photo appears in the newspaper. Kathleen, who is quite proud of her kid, is at the hospital. When Mary shows her the article, she then tries to phone him, but an envious Frank doesn't pick up. The night before the championship game, Scout member Mitch receives a call from Dominic, asking him to see Christian play in the championship match. Christian surpasses expectations, inspiring the team to victory and making an impression on Mitch just as the coach had foreseen. Days go by. Kathleen is delighted to watch Christian on television as his popularity continues to grow. She is also moved by her desire for George to witness their son's performance. Frank, on the other hand, is not happy with the boy's success and comes up with a scheme to bring him down. Christian is exercising by himself one day when he questions whether his skill has increased just as a result of the golden shoes. Thus, donning both of his available pairs, he practices penalty kicks to test it. Surprisingly, all of his shots from the regular pair are clumsy, but he shoots flawlessly while wearing the golden shoes. Frank, who is listening in on the conversation, learns the truth and wants to take away his golden shoes. He even tries to steal them while Christian is sleeping in an effort to persuade him by providing him a fresh set. Despite all of this, Christian is a kind-hearted young man who prays for the welfare of his family, his team, and even Frank. Yet, his efforts are in vain. The regional state championship games are about to start, and Christian, with his incredible abilities, is leading the squad to many victories, eventually leading the squad to its first ever championship game. The boy's profile is raised by his outstanding performance, which catapults him to the front pages of publications. Frank doesn't alter, though, and he keeps using his icy approach to dominate the child. One day, Frank receives a call from Kathleen asking how her son is doing, but despite Christian being standing in front of him, he won't allow them to speak. In other places, news of the boy's and his parents' current predicament reaches the US president, who is alerted. The president chooses to help the youngster after hearing all of this, and he calls a news conference where he recounts Christian's moving narrative. Also, he pledges to do all in his power to locate Christian's father and bring him home, so that he may see Christian play in the impending championship game. Mary gives Kathleen a pep talk at the same time, reminding her that she needs to put on her crutches and head to her son's game. Soon later, the president's secretary pays her a visit and lets her know that the president is supporting her son. The next scene shows an additional army force ordered to look for their missing comrades. Thankfully, they are able to track down the MIAs and transport them back to safety. To announce the joyful news of the Mia's rescue and their safety, the president conducts a second press conference. George LaRue is one of the MIAs, whose names are also announced. Kathleen is overjoyed as she watches the news on television. The president thinks that if this great tale does not uplift the nation, he is unsure of what will. On the day of the regional state championship finals, he walks out after saying thus much and explains that he has a football game to catch. Christian gets ready, but just as he's about to leave his basement chamber, he discovers that Frank, who also stole the golden shoes, has locked him inside. Fortunately, the football-hating neighbor's dog wakes up his owner, who arrives to investigate through the glass of the basement window. He inquires as to why Christian should assist him, and the youngster replies, "Because you are my angel," in a note. This moves the man, and he breaks the window glass and pulls Christian out right away. He decides to take him in his antique car to the stadium after realizing he will be late for his soccer game. Christian wonders how he got these trophies despite not being a fan of the sport of football. As he looks around his garage before getting into the automobile, the man admits that when he was younger, he was an excellent football player. But on a bad day, he got in an accident that left him with a broken foot and a broken back, forcing him to give everything up. Despite this, he had continued living his life until one day Christians began practicing next door, at which point he once more fell in love with the game. The two rush for the match after a quick talk. Frank lies when Dominic inquires about Christian, saying that the youngster is ill and won't be able to make it. As a result, Christian is absent. When the game starts, the team is obviously weaker. Christian eventually makes it to the game, but he discovers that his golden shoes are missing, which makes him question his abilities. When the coach learns, he gives him a pep talk, telling him that all he needs to do is believe in himself and that he doesn't need those shoes to play. The boy subsequently joins the game and, remembering Dominic's advice, scores his first goal, giving him further confidence. He scores a spectacular goal in the waning seconds, much like his idol Cristiano Ronaldo did, and propels his team to victory. The moment Kathleen enters the stadium while still using crutches, George approaches her from behind. The couple enters the building following an emotional reunion to witness their son receive the trophy after the game. When the family is eventually reunited, Kathleen strikes Frank in the face and tells her husband that she will explain later. A short while later, Mitch comes up to them and offers Christian a seat on the global team. The winning team hoists the trophy as the film comes to a close.
For more videos, please subscribe our channel and hit the bell icon to get notification.